Hello. It's Sunday.
It's Sunday, but it's dark night now.
Oh yeah. It's it's going to start getting dark from 4 o'clock now. So
Yeah.
with the clocks going forward, is it or back?
Backwards.
Yeah.
4 back, 3 forward.
I think. Well, yeah. When we spoke about this before about them going forward, it's a bit like we were discussing, weren't we, whether there was any point to it.
I don't think there is anymore, but
no. Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it was like years ago. It was done years ago for like farming, but now it's obsolete. So I don't really know why we still do it. But
no, but yeah. So it's dark out there now instead of light.
Yep.
Oh well, at least I can hunker down in here in the winter.
Yeah.
But pretty quiet week, really.
For Partwork, yeah, not for me. As you've noticed, I only released 2 videos this week.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so Wednesday. So I was going to do some builds Wednesday. I've got all the Fast and Furious issues here. Look, they're all on the desk, ready to go. So Wednesday, Kirsty had a hospital appointment.
Okay.
But it was in the afternoon. It was a biopsy on her stomach. So a camera down, and they took some biopsies.
Oh, no, I've had that done too many times, and it's awful.
Yeah, it was one of those appointments where they say you have to turn up by 1 o'clock, but they don't know when you're going to be seen. It's sort of like you turn up and you're seen when you're seen. So we were longer than we were supposed to be. And then it was a long day. So when we got home, we didn't really want to do anything. Thursday, I was in work meetings quite a lot of the day, and it got to the evening, and I couldn't be bothered. I was shattered.
Right.
And then Friday, I met my dad. We went to an auction to have a look at viewing. It was a viewing auction. And then Saturday, I was like, "Oh, I'll do some build Saturday." And then my dad rang up and said, "Oh, I'm going to the auction to do some bidding. Do you want to tag along?" I was like, "Go on then." So we were there longer than I was thinking. Then we went out in Saturday evening, and today I've been to the forest. We've been walking the dogs and that, and this is the first time I've been in this room since Tuesday. So next week on Monday, there's going to be probably double videos every day that week, so I've got a lot to get through. It's sort of building up a bit. So, but yeah, I was going to buy some stuff. I bidded on some stuff at the auction, but I didn't win them. They all went over the estimate that I was looking at. But one of them was, do you know the Sunstar models?
Yes.
The model Route Masters, yeah. So there was a lot there for 4 of them. And they were estimated 40 to 50. They were all right. They weren't in pristine condition. They needed stripping down and fixing, which I was going to do on the channel. But they went for 120 something for the 4. I thought that was a little bit over because of the condition that they were in. But
it depends. What I've learned from DS models, it depends on how sought after they are.
Yeah, so they had 2. They're all Route Masters. You had I think it's London County one, which is the green one with the actual doors at the back. There was 2 red Route Masters and another Route Master that didn't have a bridge, didn't have a roof. Sorry.
So an open topper.
Yeah, but they were all slightly damaged, every single one, which I would have restored. I would have stripped them down, restored them. That's what I was going to do on the channel. But obviously, they went over the price that I was willing to pay. I was like, maybe they're worth 60, 70, but yeah, they went to like 120. So I was out.
Okay. I had the rest of my teeth removed on Tuesday, so.
Right, okay. Not too bad, that one.
No, there was less to remove on the top than there was on the bottom, so it wasn't too bad. But I kind of remembered it all, because I remember it all happening. So the anaesthetic didn't work as well as it did the first time. But apart from that, yeah, just recovering now and then getting used to going back to the dentist, have impressions to have new teeth done.
Right.
But there we go. So it's been, like I said, it's been a quiet week though on the Partwork front.
Yes, very, very quiet. Yeah. But we had we had a sort of a mad time last week when there was lots of stuff in like coming up. This is sort of like the lull because I mean we've got the Dalek coming out from Hachette in the next month or two. So
yeah. So yeah, it's and the only information I have got is something that's on the fan home customer support page.
Yes.
And this is to do with the Optimus Prime Premium base. So, basically, the post is Optimus Prime base instructions. Hi all, we have been made aware that the base is missing instructions to support the build. Currently, these are being created, and I will let you know when you can request them via our customer service team. I'm also looking into sending these out via email to all builders. We'll keep you posted, and sorry for the inconvenience. Kind regards, back. So it looks like it's getting sorted. Finally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yes. I think I did say on original post, I did say you may get the instructions when you have all the pieces because I think you've got the whole base, but I think there's lights to go in there, and there's obviously the perspex that goes over it still to come.
Yeah. So we might get them at the end of the build.
Yeah.
So it's a case of collect the parts at the moment.
Yeah, I'm wondering when people got theirs when they did the Iron Man and the Gauntlet because they came with the same sort of base style. Yeah,
and in there there was a separate booklet with the instructions in. So
right.
I don't know whether it's either going to be a video or a PDF if they're going to email them out to builders.
Yeah, I think like most companies, I think they're trying to phase out sort of the magazine. As we've seen it on a many like Agora don't do magazines anymore.
No.
Hachette sort of have to because they're still doing the news agents.
Yeah.
And Agora, Fan Home still give you both options, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But we spoke about how many times we spoke about on the channel about them phasing out magazines. We don't see the point. I know in the US, they won't be getting the magazines, will they, for the Megazord, for the Power Rangers Megazord? They're getting digital magazines only.
Yeah.
And we're getting the actual magazines. They're not getting it. So maybe they're trying. I don't know. But time will tell, I suppose.
Yeah. And I think that's due to come out soon, isn't it, the Megazord?
November, I think they start shipping.
Yeah. So that's going to be in the next few weeks.
Yeah. And so will the Star Trek ships as well. They're out. They start in November as well. So, yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. So lots of things starting, but I'm definitely going for the Titanic extension.
Yeah,
so I really want to do it. So
after I obviously last week after we discussed it and we saw it was on the news agent system, they sent out an email, didn't they, to everyone?
Yeah.
Saying you don't have to do anything, but if you want to, you can ring up and cancel once you've got to 140.
Yeah, so I think it's going to look brilliant. What they're planning, but
does it have a base? Do we know any actual information yet?
As far as I know, it's got a peel base. But
right, okay.
Till I haven't received my next lot of Titanic, which is the final 4, and then the first one of the extension. Now they should have come last week, but they haven't arrived yet, so I can't see the information on it until I get my next lot of Titanics.
Yeah.
So it's a case of wait and see.
Yeah. It was an interesting one because everything was on off about it, and we didn't know, and we knew that I think Germany were getting it, weren't they? But nowhere else, or was it Italy? Italy.
Only Italy that I've seen, and obviously in the UK. But obviously the Titanic in the USA goes through Agora. Now, are Agora going to do it?
Yeah, that's a really good point actually, because yeah, or will they do that as a separate model sort of thing? Because I know IXO. So if you remember, they did. I think it was a Nissan 350Z that Eagle Moss started, but then pulled, and then IXO brought out. Now that was an older model that they released a while ago, and that had an extension of a 1/4 scale engine that goes into it. That was the extension. But on IXO, you can buy the engine, just those parts. They didn't do it as like an add-on. They done it as a separate thing. So I'm wondering if Agora might do that.
Yeah.
Might, instead of going, it's an extension, might say, well, if you want to get the engine, it's a separate subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or obviously, Hardshare are now set up in the USA.
Yes.
Hardshare offer it through themselves, so
they may do.
Subscribe to the Titanic extension in the USA, and then obviously that's maybe when you get your free issue and stuff if you subscribe over there.
Yeah, it may do. Yeah.
But I don't know how
interesting.
That is an interesting one because yeah, they've been getting theirs through Agora. So what's going to happen for them?
Yeah, Agora might not have even made a decision on that yet. I don't know, but yeah, interesting one. But that's like, because I think they would miss out in the US if they can't access it, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's really strange because it's kind of one of the first extensions Hardshare have actually honoured or are doing.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like, yeah, this is new territory for them.
Yeah, because because they never done. They've like, this is the first extension since the Spitfire.
No, the Spitfire never had an extension. What they made the
Ground Crew was part of it.
It was always 120 issues when you signed up for it.
Yeah.
But the aircraft was built in 100 issues. The 20 last issues were the Ground Crew. So what was happening is people at 100 were cancelling their subscription early because they didn't want the Ground Crew. But it was always 120 issues. It never got extended.
Right. So is this the first extension that Agora will sort of be involved in, I think, isn't it?
It could possibly be. I'm not sure. I really am not. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens, in the next few months, because I know the USA are behind us in the UK.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to see what happens on that front, whether Agora say, no, we're not doing the extension, and then Hachette say, right, we're going to offer it for the USA, but from issue 141 onwards, or whether it happens at all over there.
Yeah.
Strange.
Actually, talking about Hachette as well, they've got a deal at the moment where you can buy you can subscribe to the Ford Falcon, and you get the first 10 issues plus all the free gifts for £50.
Yeah.
Lots of people were saying, it must not be selling well, yada yada. But they've done this deal with the Tumbler, and I think they've done this deal with the Titanic as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of an incentive to get people on board. Really.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, a little bit insulting, because if you've already subscribed to it, it means that you've paid the 10 issues, so you're looking at just over £100.
Yeah,
if you've already done it. Now, if you've already signed up and got up to the 10 issues, but if you sign up now, you get for half price effectively. And like I said, they've done this before. Eagle Moss used to do this, and it didn't go down very well. So yeah, it's a bit really.
Well, but I mean, it's a great offer, but I'm just not into the Ford Falcon.
Really. No, it's a no from me.
No. I think I find the NASCAR from D'Agostini more appealing to me than the Ford Falcon.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, if that's your thing, it's huge in Australia, and Australia are going to get it.
Yeah, and I think it goes live in the US in the next couple of weeks or this week. I'm not too sure. It's very soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think Australia, I think they will start getting it either December or January time as well. So
yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Right, I'll start going through some chat because we haven't got really much to report on. So Steve131 yesterday says evening all. So evening, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
D says, and as always, a good evening, Mark and Kev. That's from D yesterday. So
Hi, D from yesterday.
Right. And then I can go to the top here, which is D again saying, and a good evening, Kev and Mark. So evening, D.
Evening, D.
Next day, we've got Dave Mac Building saying, good evening, Mark and Kev. It's that time again. Have a great stream. Evening, Dave Mac.
Hi, Dave.
Welcome. We've got David Hawley in saying, good evening, Kev and Mark and everyone. So evening, David.
Hi, David.
We've got Ian's World of Models. I've got no top teeth. So
yep,
Ian's
that's fine.
World of Models saying, evening, everyone. So evening, Ian.
Evening, Ian.
I'm doing well, but it's
yeah, you're doing fine.
Yeah. Stephen Haynes Models is in saying hi, Mark and Kev. So evening, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
And we've got Scott Duggan in saying, evening all, glad to finally make another stream. Hope you've all had a good weekend. So evening, Scott.
Hi, Scott. Yeah, busy.
Mine's not been too bad. I've had things I can do off camera, which I always enjoy doing. So we've got Ian Campbell in saying, evening all, evening, Ian, welcome.
Hi, Ian.
Oh, I must stress, next week, 31st, which is Thursday,
Halloween.
Halloween, and also the last date to get in.
To order orders.
Yeah, bill cushions, power mods, I believe, as well.
Yeah, everything. So, get your last orders in now. Yeah.
No, it's just for them too, because they're still taking orders up to the 31st of December.
Right. Okay.
On everything else.
Right.
Ian.
Right. Yep.
And then Ian World Model says, hi, Mark and Kev. So evening, Ian. And then Ian Campbell says, thanks for the Lancaster stand review, Mark. No problem, Ian. Thank you for sending it, mate. Brilliant.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's definitely worth having. I've seen a lot of people in the group with that stand.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's the sort of time saver, that's for sure.
It's definitely going to come into use now because we get the framework for one of the wings.
Yeah.
And yes, they have sorted out the camber of the wing.
Yes, and I also saw a video of someone doing the startup sequence. So they run in the right order, the right way.
Yeah.
And yeah, perfect.
So I've got mine and all mine are working perfectly. I've had to tweak my landing gear a little bit to get that to work properly, but everything is running as it should be. And like I said, we got the wing and it's got the correct
elevation
on it. So everything was sorted in the end.
Yeah.
We've got John's Model Making in saying evening all, evening John.
Hi John.
And David Hawley says, hope she's okay. Okay, Kev, my best wishes to you both.
Thank you, David. Yeah, she's fine.
So Will's Workshop says evening all, evening Will, welcome.
Hi Will.
And we've got Lindsay's Builds in saying hello everyone. Hi Lindsay, welcome.
Hi Lindsay.
Dave McBuild says, I've decided to go for the extension on the Titanic. Be nice to build another engine. Yeah. Yeah.
And this one's an upscaled one, isn't it, as well? So it's quite big.
It's what we did on the build was 1/200. This is 1/72. So it's going to be a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's going to be a beast.
Yeah.
That big?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the possibility of trying to find a small steam engine that could possibly run it, but that's just my thoughts at the moment.
Right.
So just to see, running from a proper steam engine, but I don't know if that's going to work. We got Helder in saying hi, Mark and Kevin and everyone. So evening, Helder, welcome.
Hi, Helder.
And then we've got DS Models in saying hello, folks. What have I missed? Kev talking about Sunstar Route Masters, Dave.
Yeah, there was some at the auction this week where I went. Yeah.
Like I said, I know some of them are if they're quite rare, they do go for quite a lot of money.
Yeah, well, the thing was, on the auction sheet, it just said 4 Route Master buses. That's all it said. So when we looked round, I automatically picked them up Sunstar, and I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're quite good ones then.
Yeah.
I think they light up as well. I can't remember if they light up, and I'm pretty sure they do. But like I said, they were all. None of them had any boxes. They were in. They needed cleaning. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And they all needed some form of touch up on them. Whether that a lot of the chairs in some of them had come loose or were flying around. Yeah. So I would have had to strip them all down, clean them all properly, put it all back together. That was the plan, but obviously they went for a lot more than I thought they were worth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, the rarer they are, I mean, if there was internet bids on there, then yeah.
Yeah, it went to an internet bid. It didn't go for in the room, so.
Yeah. Ian's Wilders model says, wasn't overly impressed with this month's 1966 Batmobile. Issue 3 stages just to build a wheel, really. Oh dear.
Yes, that is on every build. I even on the Skyline, because the Skyline's up here now. One of the wheels it took 3 issues to build.
That is crazy. I mean, it was bad enough when they were building the Eddie Stobart, and you got a tire in one issue and then the inner rim on the other.
That's exactly what you get, and then you get I think you get the brake pad in the other one for it to be attached. So It breaks it up into 3 issues. But like I said, we've got the back wheels of the Tumbler. Now there's 4 of them. And I said, didn't I? I said that's 8 issues just on them.
That's crazy.
Or even more, I reckon, because you're going to have the rubber part and then you'll have the 2. Because it happened with the Tumbler as well. I remember one of the tyres was in 1 issue where you got the actual rubber and the 2 bits. But the next tyre that we got was in 2. So you had the rubber bit and then you had the 2 bits that closed it together.
I mean, when I did the Ecto 1, a wheel was in 1 issue. Same with DeLorean.
Yeah.
And the Roadmaster was the same.
Yeah. Nowadays, it's not like even on the Knight Rider, it was the same. You a tie would come over 2 issues or 3.
So what they done? So right, how do we stretch this? Right, I tell you what, we'll make 1 tie 3 issues. So that's
we've said this before. There's a lot of these builds that could be built over a shorter period, but I suppose that would then up the price.
Yeah. Well, saying that though, no, because they'd only stretch it by 9 issues, because normally you get a tire in the first 4 issues of the build.
Yes.
So, and that's normally built in 1 issue.
Yes.
So the remaining 3, that would take 9 issues to build. But that is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's seems to be the norm. Like I said, I remember doing the Skyline. It came with 1 wheel, which was fully built in, I think, issue 2 or 3. But the next tire that we got for the front, it was built over 3 issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Crazy.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is. So next one is we've got Chris Mackinnon. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Saying, hi, Kevin Mark. Is there any news on Fan Home web shop?
It'll be in December when it goes live, because that's what it will go. We were told that for the Star Trek ships, it will go live in December, because if you buy them individually, it'll be on a month behind everybody else who subscribes. So as far as I'm aware, it should go live in December. I don't know when, but that was the original information that we got. But you never know, bugs might come in. They haven't right ready, so it might be January. But I think they're aiming for December, I think.
Yeah, right. I mean, that was another one I was going to say tonight, is the Tumbler a replacement windshield?
Yes. Yes.
Why are you paying $10.99 for a replacement windshield?
Well, it's an extra part. Now, in the issue, you get parts for other bits of the build, and then they give you an extra part. So they've chucked it in as like a free gift or an extra, but it is a replacement for the front windshield. So you're not paying for that. You're actually paying for the other bits that you get with that issue.
Right. But,
so basically it's like like say it's a wheel. I don't think it's a wheel, but they give you the wheel. That's what you're paying for, and then they've chucked in the windshield, so it's like an extra. But they've redesigned it, and they've took the corners off it, so it's more streamlined now. It's more curved than straight. Right. So they must have had problems with it, but it's not the first time that something like that has happened on a build. You know, take the Ecto one.
Oh, don't go Doorgate again.
With Doorgate, yeah, I'm going to go there. So it's happened before. So it's not. Yeah, it's not something that hasn't happened previously.
With Doorgate, though, we didn't have to purchase that issue again.
No, and once again, you haven't on this one because you still get extra parts. If you know what I mean, they've sort of given you it for free. As
but I remember when we did the Spitfire, we spent $9.99 on a motor that does nothing.
There we go.
And still does nothing because
I still think we're not going to use that Lazy Susan.
So you think that's 2 issues wasted making a Lazy Susan?
That was I actually I don't even think it was 2 issues. I think that was over 3 issues, and I don't think we're going to use it. I've got a funny feeling because that was right at the very start of the build of the Tumbler, and since then they've redesigned the front suspension. So we put the suspension system was already there, and then they added extra bits to it which weren't supposed to be on it, which should then raise the car. So with them raising it, it means Lazy Susan doesn't actually reach the base of the car anymore. So I don't know where it sits. So I don't know if we're going to use it. So it may be a bit like the engines on the X-Wing, where you build it up but don't see them, or like you're saying, like you get the motor for the Spitfire that you don't use.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's installed in the plane. It's installed in there. It just doesn't do anything. Don't make no sense.
What was it for? Did you ever find out what it's supposed to be for?
We suspected it was for the rear wheel. So we think it was for the rear wheel to motorize it, but the rear wheel on a Spitfire was never motorized.
Right. So they sort of installed it and then they went, oh, we don't actually need to do that. And then they just left it.
Yeah. That was an afterthought thing. Well, we'll leave the motor in there, but yeah, we won't give anything connecting it. So that's what I thought, because there was a connecting point on the real. I think it was called it the jockey wheel on the Spitfire, and then there was obviously that motor that just did nothing at all.
So how did that wheel come down, or did it not?
It doesn't. It's always there.
Right.
It's always
the little tail wheel.
Yes. Yeah. So we think it was to control that, but. Yeah, never knew. Right. Never known what it was for because it never gets used.
Right.
Crazy. Ian's saying assembly cushions and power mods. So that's what's got to get your orders in by this Thursday for them mods.
Yeah, look, I cannot stress enough how good these cushions are and how much they've saved a lot of the builds from being damaged or something. So get your orders in because they're so worth it. Even get the little one or a big. I'd go for a bigger one, but if you get a little one, you've got a little one, haven't you, Mark? And they do really well. So I've
got a little one, I've got the normal size one, and I've got the large shipbuilders one as well.
Yeah, and obviously your power mods. I can't say any more praise about them. They're brilliant. Yeah.
D Harry says, and I'm out to look regards the power mod. You should be still okay to get 1D.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Will's Workshop says, Kev, saw your completed kit. Would you disassemble from Mike Lane mod? It really is amazing. Yeah.
No. And we discussed this. I think we discussed this on another video, didn't we, Mark? Was it last week? Sort of once a build is built, I wouldn't. I mean, I envy people like yourself, Will, who's able to strip it out. I just wouldn't, because knowing my luck, something would break, something would come off. It wouldn't go back together again. So I leave.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to taking something apart. I did do with the Millennium Falcon because I had to sort out the battery box in that and some LEDs and stuff and clean it. So, but I don't know if I take my DeLorean apart. because I've been worried it won't go back together.
What I would love to do, because I'm currently watching a Knight Rider review, so I'm watching all the old Knight Riders again. What I would love to do is to recreate the opening sequence, but with our model.
Right.
Because I reckon you could do that quite easily. There's a lot of shots of it driving. You could do that easily. I was thinking it'd be quite cool if you could do the original intro, but replace Kit with our model.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, now the Mike Lane mod would work really well with that, because there's in the intro sequence, there's a lot of close-up models with close-up shots of the screens and the speedo and stuff going. So I think if you could do that, that would be cool.
Todd Marvel Phoenix he was going to do an instructions on how to strip down the Knight Rider and then how to install all the mod.
I think it's pretty easy. The whole body of the car is only held down with, I think it's 6 screws. And then once it lifts off, you've got access to it anyway. So I don't think it's overly complicated. The only problem comes down to connecting all the wires. Yeah. Because that was the problem. And then trying to lift it up without catching any or pulling any would be a problem, I think. But it's easily done. You could do it, I think, yeah.
I'm not building the Knight. I've not built the Knight Rider, so I wouldn't really know. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice build.
It's a really, really nice mod, though. Really.
Yeah. And what I've seen with Mr. Fusion doing the mod for the Tumbler, that's going to look spot on as well.
Yeah. So, D. Harris says, evening all on the other side. Helder asks, Kev, did you get the parts I sent you?
I did, yes. Thank you very much. The Enterprise parts. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, lovely.
David Hawley says, speaking of the Tumbler, thought it was a bit naughty. Replacing the windshield parts and charging us for it. Bit naughty, if you ask me.
You weren't charged for them. that issue comes with, like I said, extra bits. So you don't just get the windshield, you get other bits in there. So you're paying for those bits, not the windshield. If you get me.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it was naughty. The only thing I would say to that is you wouldn't want to complete it, get the windshield on it, and then it break. It's good that they've found the problem and replaced the part before we actually install it.
Right.
So yeah, it swings in roundabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will's Workshop says, not much to do on the Skyline this time, just a ton of wires. Out of all the lights, I have one LED that does not work.
Yes, I have it down here, but yeah, it's just like with the Tumbler, the Skyline, they provide you with all the electrics all at once. So you get all the LEDs, all the circuit, all the bits. So we will be, when we start building this up, we will be taking a lot of the wires off, just like we've done with the Tumbler.
Yeah. DS Models says, box Sunstar Route Masters go from anything between 150 to 300 each, depending on condition.
Yes. Yeah, I know what they went. I already looked online and sort of went, okay, if they were boxed and they were in pristine condition, they go for about 180, 200. But these were out of box. They needed to be really clean. They look like they've been on a shelf being displayed for a very, very long time. So there was really a lot of dust on them. And then, like I said, there was a lot of loose chairs in all of them, and some wing mirror bits broke and stuff like that. So it needed to be stripped down, put back together. But like I said, you had 4 of them in the lot. There was 4 together in one lot. They were estimated between 40 and 50. And I thought, with the work that needed to be done, they weren't pristine. They were out of box. I thought maybe, 75 quid. Because you got to think you got that and their fee on top. So it nearly comes to 40% on top you're paying. So I think it went in the end for about 120 in the end. But then you've got 40% on top of that to pay. And I thought it was a bit too much work if you wanted to, if you know what I mean, if you want to resell them or something.
Yeah.
But what I really like is a Metro. They did MCW one, which I would really like, an old London Metro one. That's the one I would like.
Howard says, yes, the tumbler has so many issues, but weight throwaway parts look sneaking an issue you have to pay for, which only the magazine.
Yes, yeah, they've obviously found the problem and they've replaced it, which is good. But it doesn't look good because, like you're saying, it looks like you're paying twice for the same part. So, yeah.
David Hawley says, my point exactly. Howard says, but they know it was wrong, but to add it like that seems so sneaky.
Well, we've talked about this before. So when they design these, the prototypes are always all plastic, and then when they start building it and adding die cast, they get the parts a couple of weeks, a couple of months before we get them, so they can expect them. So they're effectively building it the same time we are.
Yeah,
and that is why when we're building these things, like with the Spitfire, like with other builds as well, where you're halfway building it, and then they get you they done it with. I'll tell you which one they done it with, and that was with the Knight Rider, not the DeLorean. Right. If you remember originally, when we originally built it, we had the steering rack, and I think it was just too short, and so later on they gave you a replacement for it.
Right.
And it was in with other pieces, but they gave you a replacement for it. So they do it, but like I said, they've obviously found a problem and thought, let's replace it. Like I said, it's good that they've done it now over if we finished the build and they've gone. Well, I mean, look at the Spitfire with the landing gear.
Yeah.
I mean, that if they had known about that problem earlier on, they might have been able to sort it. But because it was so far into the build, they didn't have enough time to sort it out.
The problem is, though, the fix for the landing gear on the Spitfire didn't work. It still didn't work. So,
exactly.
Yeah, even when they said they fixed it. So
it's sneaky, but it's good on the other hand because it means that we're not left with something that doesn't work later on.
Okay, Ian says, so can you choose not to fit the extra windshield?
I would say it's been redesigned for a reason, probably because it doesn't fit or it catches.
Right.
So the original one, the new one is near enough identical to the one we've got, except the corner sections on the lower section of it. On the original one, it's more square, and on this new one, it's rounded. My guess is it got caught. So as the mechanism goes up and retracts, my guess is that the block one, the original one, got caught or wouldn't go up, and so they've gone, okay, we'll put the other one in because then it will retract better. My guess. That's my guess, but yeah, it might be. I don't know.
David Hawley says yes, it was. Will's Workshop says, I don't understand complaints on issues. You know from the start how many issues you will have. You are not told what you will get. So 3 issues for a wheel is annoying, but 1 issue you will get a frame. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts in what you get. But I think when you're paying a certain amount of money for 1 issue and you look at what they give you, kind of can be a little bit putting off.
Yes, I mean, we have that ongoing thing, a little bit of fun with the tumbler, where we got a lot of issues right at the start when we were doing the electrics, where it was just even on the Skyline. I think one of the issues you get two wires or 2 or 3 wires in each one. And remember, if you're paying for this in the news agency, you're paying £10 an issue. it doesn't look good. But like Will's saying is, you get down the line and then you get a big chunky bit of metal. That's where your money's going.
Oh yeah, it's just. I remember when they trialed the Eddie Sturbart.
Yeah,
that trial was, they said 130 issues, but when it came out, they'd stretched it to 140 issues.
Yeah, they've done that actually. I think they've done that on the on a few of them actually, where they've gone, it's only going to be a set amount of issues, and then when it's actually been released, they've upped the issues to like another 10 or 20.
But what gets me with the builds and how they decide to build them and everything is, I get frustrated when there's so much to do at the end, because I think to myself, you could have stretched that out a lot better than in one thing, giving us a couple of pieces of plastic, and then you've got umpteens amount to do. The Titanic's like that at the moment. You've got so much to get done at the end, where you could have made that easier by putting it throughout the build.
Yeah, I also one of my gripes is when you get parts and then you don't use them for a long time.
Oh, I mean, we had parts in issue 9 for the Titanic. We didn't put on until issue 130 something.
Yeah, I mean, even now, I even with like issues 1, 2, and 3. I mean, originally when you did these, you got them in the newsagents. So the first 4 issues were to entice you to do it. So they gave you all the big bits. But as it's a subscription now, they don't really need to do that, but they continue to do that. A lot of the companies do, where you'd have like the bonnet and the windshield. Yeah. And then, but you know for a fact you're not going to install them until really near the end. And so it's a bit frustrating because then you're left with a lot of parts laying around.
Well, look at the doll's house, the front doors.
Yeah.
You did them in the first 2 issues, and then you had to store them safely away for a heck of a long time.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, the only build I don't have any spare parts or any parts lying around for is Optimus Prime. We don't have any spare parts. No part is lying around for that. Everything that we've got is actually on him now. So, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
The only thing I find with the Optimus Prime is if there's a lot to do, they really do try and compact it into only a couple of pages of instructions, and it can be very difficult to work out what you've got to do. Yeah.
I'm finding a lot of builds like that lately. I don't know whether it's just me, but I find that some of the instructions aren't, well, it's been like this for years, but some of the instructions aren't exactly clear.
No.
And there's, especially on, I mean, I've got the rear suspension here of the Skyline. When you look through some of the magazines, it's not 100% clear, if you know what I mean. It's easy to make a mistake. That's why you watch these. That's why you watch us, to make sure we make mistakes, so you don't have to. But it's especially to get things round the wrong way.
Yeah,
because sometimes it says use the left side, but obviously they're labelled, but sometimes they're not, and so you can get quite confused in which way they go around.
Yeah.
Howard says, I wasn't, but after seeing that kit mod, I'm at the point to be easy to put it together. If I was farther along, then no. So yeah. D. Harris says, Power Mod not showing on the website.
Oh, what one's that for, D?
That'll be down. Yeah, I bet Ian's commented saying which one's that. Will's Workshop says it's not too difficult. 8 screws hold the body on. There is a 2-hour video on my channel for the build.
Okay.
Yeah. Howard says they also talked with Mike and they hook that to the Wi-Fi. It can have firmware upgrade. They have some extras. They are going to add more into it, but you won't have to change anything. Just update the SD.
I've like I said, we've seen certain things creeping in with these builds, especially the remote controls, and then some builds are now being offered with like a mains power.
Yeah.
As well. It won't be long until they're fitted with either Bluetooth or like a Wi-Fi sort of signal, so you can do those sort of things. because when those get cheap enough, they'll start fitting them in.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Howard says, and if you don't know or heard, this Apache was actually trialed back in 2016 by D'Agostini.
Yep, it was but it only was trialed in Italy, and it didn't go further than the trial, obviously. But it was only done in Italy.
Yeah, Titanic was the same. That was only trialed in Italy.
Yep.
So yeah, we've got Daz Fortnite in saying, "How do everyone?" Hi Daz, welcome.
Hi Daz.
I think this is on the Tumblr. David Holly says, "Good point, Kev, but still not happy."
No, I can like with most stuff, I'm a builder just like you. I'll pay for the issues for the Tumblr. I'm in the same boat as you. So yeah, it's frustrating, but it's good to get it done now rather than later, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Daz Fonte says, thinking of going live after this. I do model railway on Engage. Anyone would come and see. Not tonight, maybe in the next few weeks.
Okay, lovely. Yeah.
Ian says, I don't think it's so much to do with the cost of the issue. It's more that you're waiting weeks and then only have to spend 2 mins and then have to wait weeks again. Yeah.
There's the Tumblr's like that. Even if, because you get 6 issues every 6 weeks, but as you're seeing, I'm building it every week. They're just, I know some people have said that they get their issues and it's like 2 minutes to build everything, and then they have to wait another 6 weeks.
Yeah,
there's just not a lot in that build to get your teeth into.
It's frustrating sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. Scott Duggan says people forget the total cost is for a finished model, not per part, even though it is frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to look at the whole build overall.
Everybody wants value for money, and we all want to. We don't want to be paying as much as we are, but we are. I think it's just
with everything going up at the moment, and I'm there with your frustrations because I've done it on my own videos, haven't I? Where I've got a Tumblr part, and I've gone, really? That's just cost us £10 for a wire.
Yeah.
I think we had one of the headlights in one of the issues, and that, you know what I mean? You kind of go, it's really strange because you look at the whole build and you go, look, once it's built and the money's spent, it's going to look fantastic out of this world. But when you're spending £10 on a wire, it's hard to justify. Sometimes it's hard to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Was that worth it?
Yeah.
Ian says, if they can't fill issues with a decent amount of work to do, then reduce the total issues and cost to us. So,
yeah, I don't. The problem is, I think what happens is they have the total cost, and then they spread that total cost out over the issues, so it's less of an impact for us. So if they added more parts to each issue, it wouldn't cost us any different because you're still getting the same parts, just not many issues. If you know what I mean. So I think they try and do it so there must be a threshold or something like that where they go, right, well, we don't want people paying more than £90 a month. So we have to keep it under that number, if you know what I mean. But obviously, if they added more parts, then you would still pay more each month, but you'd still get the same amount of parts if it wasn't stretched, if you know what I mean.
And I mean, there are builds out there you think, why? I mean, like the Iron Man, the amount of parts you got was really, and what you had to do was quite bad, really, wasn't it? Especially when they started stripping down, just doing one finger per issue.
Yeah, but you got to think a lot of these aren't specifically designed for us here in the UK. A lot of it's more. I mean, all these companies, the Agostini Fan Home, all these, they're all European companies. They're not based here. That's why France and Italy and all that get all the builds and we don't. And and also as well, these companies probably go to and they say, can you build the Optimus Prime to the manufacturers? And they go, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And they just say, okay, so they're just paying the money, and the manufacturers are the ones designing and doing the issues.
Yeah.
You got to think Fan Home are just the people selling you it. They're not the people building or designing it. There's another company that does that. They're just the seller.
Yeah. Howard says Optimus feels a bit like that, but it feels like you're doing more. Makes you wonder about the NASCAR or a static model of the Iron Spider is a static middle aisle from his eyes. Is that aside from his eyes? Sorry.
No, I think you can pose the Spider-Man. I think it's posable. I don't think it's more of a statue. Though saying that, I think the Alien and the Terminator are statues because you can't really pose them. Then they're not sort of posable, if you know what I mean.
And then Howard says, right, Ian, and just make the magazine filled with more of the articles. Yeah, but I mean, I found, like with the DeLorean and the Titanic's a bit like it, and Terminator, they run out of stuff to put in there.
Yeah, especially with if they've only, like you're saying with the Terminator, but also actually with the DeLorean, because they only did 3 films.
Yeah.
So it gets to a point where it's a bit like, what do they fill it with?
Well, it's like a lot of people said with the Ford Falcon not being associated to Mad Max. How much can you talk about the franchise while the build is on?
Yeah, well, they can't talk about the franchise. That's the thing. So they're just doing other cars in it, I think, other American cars.
But I mean, I've noticed with the Optimus Prime build, not every issue has the toys in them because they're obviously running out of the toys that they make.
Yeah, I do find that once you get nearer towards the end of a build, the magazines get you just get the instructions to build. You don't. It's like they get very thin and they do run out of stuff. It's difficult. RoboCop, I think, is going to be like that unless they start adding stuff from the TV series. I don't know, but I mean, with that one, you get stuff about RoboCop, the movies, and then you get real robots. So stuff about real stuff in like real science stuff, which happened in the Terminator magazines as well. So you got stuff about the Terminator film, and then they stuffed it with like real life robotics and stuff.
Yeah. David Hawley says Optimus is brilliant, very good build so far, amazing, very happy with it so far. I am with mine. I'm enjoying mine.
Yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon with Optimus Prime. It's perfect size. You do get there are some issues where you doesn't look like you get a lot, but actually when you build it up, it's done quite a bit, if you know what I mean.
Ken Fairclough says the RoboCop head and helmet isn't fitted until almost the end of the build.
Yes, you don't get the face. I've got it right here. You don't get the face plate for it until issue 99.
No.
And there's only 100 issues, so.
Lindsay's build says, wish I could find an issue. Find an issue I had missing from my Harshette 1/16 Tiger, plus a couple of parts that got damaged. Yeah.
Yeah.
The older ones.
That is, that Tiger is, yeah.
Will's Workshop says, I'll be power modding the Skyline. I can see changing batteries on that to be a right pain. We'll need to get the metal drill bit out to get through the boot base.
I think is that where it's located, is it?
I'm not sure.
Because I think the batteries are located in the passenger side under the NAS under the NOS bottles. So you have the driver's seat, and then the passenger seat is where he has the NOS bottles, and I think the actual batteries are under that. So you have to, I would imagine you'd have to open up the passenger door to take them in and out.
Yeah.
Because there's no, on the chassis, there's no bit to there's no compartment bit. And because the battery box is silver, which is the same as the base for the NOS bottles.
Right.
So I think that's where it sits.
Yeah. D says, it's the mod I've done on the Bismarck. Need the right volts, amps going to make sure I have the right speed if adjustment needed. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Daz Faulkner says, thanks for your support. Please sub. It's just having the confidence to do it. Well, we were all there at one point.
We all had that at one point. Yeah. Just do it.
My first ever video is terrible. Honestly.
All of my first. What do you mean? Mine are still terrible now.
Mate, I don't know how I'm doing it. I just still think I'm winging it every week.
I wing it every day, mate. I wing life every day.
Yeah.
So
Dean Harris says, daughter said she would get me the power adapter last Christmas. Still waiting. I have countless adapters. I'm sure I could make something work.
Yeah.
Sprue and Glue's in, saying waving. So hi, Sprue and Glue. Welcome.
Glue.
And we've got John's Model Making who says night all night, John.
Night, John.
And then Helder says, good night all night, Helder.
Night, Helder. Thanks for the stuff.
Will's Workshop says, you are correct, Cav. Batteries are under NOS bottles in passenger side of car.
Yeah, I think that'll be, like you were saying, it's going to definitely be a bit of a pain to get to because you'd have to open up the door every time to change them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get around that.
Dave McBill says, been another great stream tonight, guys. The hour has gone by so fast. Thank you, Dave.
It always does.
I am
Cheers, Dave.
Chat. Oh,
and that's it.
That's it. So you've got a busy week coming up with lots of videos, Kev.
Yeah. There's 100% going to be at least probably 2 videos a day this week because I've got so far behind and I need to catch up on everything. So at least 2 videos this week.
As far as I'm aware, unless Titanic comes tomorrow in the post, there'll be no Titanic tomorrow, but I have got the regular videos throughout the week, including the Enterprise is back on now. Now got replacement parts. So
lovely.
Basically, so I'll just finish off this chat. David Hawley says, night all, guys. Great stream again, guys. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Dave.
Ian says, what size batteries for Skyline?
I think they're AAAs. 4 AAAs, I think they are.
Right. D. Harris says, night, Mark and Kev, until next time, but you're on tomorrow night, Kev.
Yes. Yeah, Star Trek Online, yeah.
Okay. Ian's World of Models says, great stream, guys. Seeing everyone next week.
Cheers,
and
Ian.
Says, night all.
Night, Ian.
And Ian's put, thanks, Kev. And Will's put, 4 AAA batteries.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you for everybody coming in tonight. Thank you for your comments. It's been fantastic as always. I managed to get through nearly the entire stream without slipping up because of no teeth in here anymore.
You've done well, don't worry.
Yeah, I know. So it just leaves me to say I've been Mark.
And I've been Kev.
And we'll catch you all next week, guys. Bye.
See you later, guys.